Okay, guys, so here is the last video of today, and it's the last video of week 4. So we're wrapping this thing up, and you're doing good. Thank you for sticking with me through all of this insanity. Maybe we can kind of zip to the end of Socrates' speech and actually get to the end of this would be really nice, because we've been talking a lot about how this Lysias and then Socrates gives a speech on the same subject, which is it better to be in a romantic relationship with your friend rather than someone who's desperately in love with you? Um, we're going to get to something else. We're pretty much wrapping up this subject of friendship versus love, and we're going to move on to something else in a second. So let's finish it and finish this unit. We're doing pretty good. So Socrates ends by saying, and not only while his no, we did this already. And not only while his love continues is he mischievous and unpleasant, but when his love ceases, he becomes a perfidious enemy on him who has showered oaths and prayers and promises, and yet could hardly prevail upon him to tolerate the tedium, boredom, of his company, even from motives of interest. This is the same thing that Lysias said, which is that when you fall out of love, people become very angry and unpleasant. So we don't need to talk about this too much because we did it already. The hour of payment arrives, and now he is the servant of another master. Instead of love and infatuation, wisdom and temperance are his bosom's lords. But the beloved has not discovered the change that has taken place in him. When he asks for a return and recalls to his recollection former sayings and doings, he believes himself to be speaking to the same person. And the other, not having the courage to confess the truth and not knowing how to fulfill the oaths and promises which he made when under the domination of folly, when he was being ridiculous and in love, and having now grown wise and temperate, does not want to do as he did, or to be as he was before. And so he runs away and is constrained to be a defaulter, meaning he's not going to pay the person back. The oyster shell has fallen with the other side uppermost, meaning things are flipped. He changes pursuit into flight, right? He used to chase after the kid, and now the kid's chasing after him. And the other is compelled to follow him with passion and imprecation, not knowing that he ought never from the first to have accepted a demented lover instead of a sensible non-lover. So it's a little complicated, and I zipped through that, and I don't think we need to spend a ton of time on it. But his point is that the person who loves you is sort of the idea in ancient Greece is that the person who loves that the lover is sort of having sex with the younger person. But it's supposed to be providing them with like an education. But what Socrates is saying happens is that they're in love, they chase after this person, this beautiful person, and they have sex with them, but then they fall out of love and they're like, okay, I'm leaving now, I'm done with this. And the younger person is like, weren't you supposed to like teach me a bunch of stuff and like make me into a better human being? And actually they've made them into a worse human being. So he's saying that like someone in love will, the same thing Lysias said, people in love fall out of love. And then they don't want to do all the things that they promised, like take care of you and actually, like, support you financially or give you an education or whatever they said they were going to do when they were in love suddenly goes away. So Lysias already covered this. We don't need to do this again. Guys, we're going to wrap up Unit 1. This is great. And in that making such a choice as he was given himself, to faithless, morose, envious, disagreeable being, hurtful to his estate, hurtful to his bodily health, and hurtful in the cultivation of his mind, than which is neither is nor ever will be anything more honored in the eyes of both gods and men. Consider this, fair youth, and know that in the friendship of the lover there is no real kindness. He has an appetite and wants to feed upon you. As wolves love lambs, so do lovers love their loves. So his point is that the person who is in love is selfish and hurtful and sort of wounds you and weakens you. And he's not really nice. In Socrates' mind, here's the key thing. He's just using the younger person for sex. So it's the exact same thing we talk to people about now, which is that people will meet you and they'll want to use you for sex, and then they kind of toss you aside and they don't even really care. So the same thing that we tell people in modern day America, where Socrates is trying to warn people about back then. So guys, we've got a couple minutes left, and I would love to get to the end of this. So let's finish this unit. Okay. But I told you I'm speaking in verse and therefore had better make an end enough. He says in verse because he feels inspired by the gods who inspire poetry, and so he feels like he's not in control of himself. Phaedrus says, I thought you were only halfway and were going to make a similar speech about the advantages of accepting the non-lover. Why do you not proceed? Phaedrus loves speeches so much he wants to hear more. He's like excited about what Socrates isn't doing anymore. And thank God, because I don't want to hear anymore. I'm done. Does your lover not observe, lover. Does not your simplicity observe that I have got out of dithyrambics into heroics? He's talking about different kinds of poetry inspired by the gods. When only uttering a censure on the lover, and if I am to add the praises of the non-lover, what will become of me? Like if I keep going like this, the gods are speaking through me. This could be dangerous. Do you not perceive that I am already overtaken by the nymphs to whom you have mischievously exposed me? Because Phaedrus took him out into the woods. Socrates likes the city. Phaedrus lured Socrates. Again, you can see the kind of flirty overtones between both of them. But Phaedrus lured Socrates out into the country, and Socrates is like, these spirits that live in the trees or in the river, they're speaking through me. Phaedrus wants him to keep going, and he's like, I think it would be dangerous to keep going, actually. And therefore will only add that the non-lover has all the advantages that the lover is accused of being deficient. And now I will say no more. There has been enough of both of them. Leaving the tale to its fate, I will cross the river and make the best of my way home, lest a worse thing be inflicted upon me by you. Right, so he says, like, this is it. I'm done. Phaedrus says, not yet, Socrates. Not until the heat of the day is past. It's too hot. Don't leave. Do you not see that the hour is almost noon? The midday sun is standing still, as people say in the meridian. Let us rather stay and talk over what has been said and then return in the cool. Your love of discourse, Phaedrus, is superhuman, simply marvelous, and I do not believe that there is any one of your contemporaries who has either made or in one way or another has compelled others to make an equal number of speeches. I would accept this dude, but all the rest are far behind you. And now I do truly believe that you have been the cause of another. So Socrates is gearing up to give another speech because Phaedrus is begging him for more. And just to give you a little preview of where we're going, Socrates says that he has offended the gods by speaking against love. And so what he wants to do another whole speech about why love is good. And that is the subject of Unit 2. And Socrates' speech about why love is good is like a huge speech. And it's the middle third of the book. It's massive. And we'll be getting to that next. But the point is, for now, we have finished this unit. We've wrapped up this section. And so what I need you to do is take a look at, make sure you're looking at paper 1 in the assignments. Make sure you're kind of planning ahead for this stuff, and you're looking at paper 1 assignment. Make sure you're commenting on the discussion boards. It's never too late to comment. You can always go on there and put comments on. You can watch the whole point of this course is you can watch these videos whenever you want. Pick quotes and discuss them and practice with them. Practice with them in the comments. And just start thinking about exactly kind of, and your paper is an opportunity for you to do all kinds of interesting things. So this is tough material. It's tough, and you've read a lot of pages of ancient Greek philosophy. Read it, take a look at it, see if you can find something in these 8 hours of videos or whatever that you thought was interesting, and write about it. Find a way to link it up. You saw me doing this. I kept connecting what we were doing to things that interested me. You have the same book that I have. Now you should do that. Take this book and try to do things in here that you think are interesting to you. This ends Unit 1, and it ends this discussion of whether it is better to be with a friend than someone who loves you, because people in love maybe are crazy. And friends are more reasonable and rational. Temperate is the word Socrates would use instead of excess. The lovers are famous for excess, but friends are better for temperance, and Socrates prefers temperance. So I think that's the end of this unit. It's a lot of stuff. I know it's a lot of material. Don't lose track of this handout. I've shown this to you a million times. This is the class. You do the things on this handout pretty much really from here to here. You do this stuff, and you're doing fine. This is just territory for you to practice. Practice the moves, practice in the discussion, and then try it out for a grade with paper 1. Anyway, that's the end of Unit 1. Thank you for joining me. I love you all for putting up with this insanity. If any of you have made it this far by watching all of the videos, you are in my heart forever. All right, and I will see you next time.